Hello and welcome to my review of the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Slaves to Darkness Darkoath Chieftain. He will set you back £17.50, which is £2.50 cheaper than the Darkoath War Queen Marakar Bloodsky. I think one of the reasons is because he comes in a very simple clamshell pack, whereas Marakar comes in a, nice looking cardboard box, I suppose. Rules wise, they're very similar. They've just got slightly different abilities. They cost the same points. We'll go through the rules in a moment, but first of all we'll look at the model in detail. I'll show you the spare parts, of which there are only technically two, and then we'll go through some size comparisons and look at the rules. So the model itself then, lovely little model, loads of detail there, plenty of areas to pick out detail with your brush. You've got like a ceremonial type dagger there that's sheathed. You've got this big sword. You've got this lovely axe with a rounded axe. You've got some hair on the boots, and then you've got skull on a shoulder pauldron, and then a metal shoulder pauldron with a bladed spike. He hasn't really got any armour on the top other than those pauldrons, and a bit of a cloth there covering his extremities. He's got a little money pouch, I want to call that, along with another skull, and you can see the teeth from the shoulder pauldron skull too, and his long hair. Got a bit of a Mohican type hair going on. He's sort of shaved either side, and he's got a scarring down the left side of his face, if you can see that on the camera. He's got this icon there where his belt is, and yeah, the sword has plenty of opportunity there of airbrushing and getting a great effect on there, or even practicing your non-metallic skills. So lovely model, lots of detail, easy to pick out the detail as well. Let's have a look at those spare parts. It is just his optional left hand. This thing here. He's holding a head of a creature, a horned creature. I don't know what it is, but yeah, you've got the blood there as well. I didn't really want that on the model. I like the axe, and these are the horns for the model too. Not quite sure where they go. I guess they sort of go here, maybe there, at a push. Yeah, so a horned beast nonetheless, but that will be going in my bits box. Difficult to kind of put that on another model unless their arm is, facing downwards to the ground. But there we go. Let's show you some size comparisons with other Slaves to Darkness models. So first of all, I want to show you his size next to Marakar, which is taller. Marakar is taller with the axe, but she is in a more dynamic pose and jumping off some scenery, which I believe is one of the reasons of the slightly higher price as well. So they both go very well together. Him looking very statuesque, and her in a much lively action pose. They complement each other very well. They share similar aesthetics. Compared to like a Spire Tyrant, one of these gladiators, they go quite well too, because they've got bits of chaos armor, and they've got these kind of leggings or tights, as well as these cloths at the rear, and shields and these kind of swords. Very similar aesthetic wise, but if we go the other end of the spectrum to Chaos Warriors, yeah, you can see there that now you've got a full Chaos Warrior and full knight armor, similar height wise. He's on a tiny bit of scenery, and he's got this awesome mace and a massive shield, but yeah, very similar in height compared to a Chaos Knight on a steed. There we go. Yeah, it's barely doesn't come up to the horse's head even, but let's just give you an idea of the size of these knights as well. The final sort of two size comparisons I want to make is just of the Fomoroid Crusher and the Ogroid Myrmidon. Goes quite well with the Ogroid Myrmidon, although that looks a little bit small near him, but yeah, I hope those size comparisons helped. So yeah, that's just a look at how he compares to the other Slaves to Darkness models. Finally, as always, I like to do a couple of size comparisons with some 40k miniatures. I doubt you'll ever see all of these in one, but there we go. So compared to a Space Marine, he is taller than a normal Space Marine, even when factoring that extra scenic base on this Space Marine hero. Compared to the Primaris though, they are similar height. Primaris is just a tad taller head-wise in those poses, but this Darkoath Chieftain is stood up very, very straight. And now you've entered my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Darkoath Chieftain, which you can either pick up on Games Workshop's website through the Age of Sigmar app, or you'll find them in your brand new Slaves to Darkness battle tome. And he's directly under the Darkoath War Queen. It's a nice place to be. He is a leader, and he will cost you the same points as her at 90, and of course minimum and maximum unit size is 1 for him. He's a single model armed with a Warlord Axe and Cursed Broadsword. So his stat line reads movement of 6 inches, save of 5+, bravery 8 and 6 wounds. Exactly the same stat line there as the War Queen. He is a single model armed with a Warlord Axe and Cursed Broadsword. I always read that the Darkoath War Queen had a Warlord Axe, so maybe I got it wrong, or maybe the description was wrong, but it is what it is. Well, I'm guessing the Chieftain has the Warlord Axe instead. So what do these two weapons do? Well, the Warlord Axe is a range 1 inch, 1 attack, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, no rend and only 1 damage. The Cursed Broadsword is where it's at though. It's a range 1 inch, 3 attacks, 4+ to hit, 3+ to wound, -1 rend and 2 damage. It's a better weapon. It's got more attacks and it has that rend as well. And the ability that he has, the Berserk Charge, bumps that up even more. It says add 3 to the attacks characteristic of this model's Cursed Broadsword if it charged in the same turn, and that's what you want to be doing. You want to be charging, so you get your 6 attacks with that damage 2 weapon. Death Blow. At the end of the combat phase, if any enemy models were slain by this model in that phase, each enemy unit within 1 inch of this model suffers 1 mortal wound. That's pretty good, but of course he has to be very deep in melee for that to take into effect. He has to be within 1 inches of models for them to suffer mortal wounds. And finally, his command abilities, Last Gasp of Glory. You can use this command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, pick a friendly model with this command ability. Until the end of the phase, friendly Chaos Marauders and Cultist models that are slain within 12 inches of the model you picked and have not yet fought in that phase can fight before being removed from play. That's awesome. So it's got a nice 12-inch bubble there where they haven't fought, they can fight, and then they die basically. That's that last gasp of glory, which might come in handy, especially as the Cultists and Marauders don't really have a very good save, and it just gives you a little bit of an extra final say in how the little melee combat goes. His keywords: Chaos, Mortal, Slaves to Darkness, Hero, Eye of the Gods and Darkoath Chieftain. So there you go. He's a lovely little model. He's a great showcase for your Slaves to Darkness army, especially if you want to theme it around the Untamed Beasts or the Dark Oath or Marauders and so on. If you don't want to go down the Chaos Knights avenue, he goes very well with Marikar too. It's one of the reasons why I got both of them, because they complement each other, both in game and as models themselves. But as always, I'm interested to find out what you guys think. Do you use him in game, or do you use both of them, or do you prefer to use Marikar? Please do share with all of us here on the community. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Death to the False Emperor.